The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Bretton has made an impression at Perkay's boutique stationery store, and the group walks away with another piece of the puzzle. Where will the investigation lead them next as they try to sort out who is involved in the thefts? Enjoy the podcast. Hi, and welcome to The Shed for Adventures from the Shed. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Search us up on Facebook, where you can ask us questions. We can give you answers. You can just tell us how great we are. We like to hear that, too. We're going to go around the table here and say hi. We'll start with...
This is Chris. I'm playing Uriel the Immolator.
This is Kelly, playing Trillium the Druid.
And this is Kurt. I'm playing Bretton. He is a human ranger.
And this is Bridget, playing the human cleric, Lenore.
And I am Joe. I am the game master as we continue this Dungeon World campaign set in our world of Paradisi. We are calling this campaign A New Frontier, and to give us a new recap on our new frontier will be Kurt to give us a quick recap of what we did last time.
Sure. So our last episode began with the party having a large breakfast together at the Spastic Piglet, where the waitress mentioned to us that the thefts similar to what we had experienced in Valshand had been happening in kind of all the neighboring towns within like a 2-day circle around Harak, which we may have known before, but was kind of confirming that to us. On the road, the party set out to Harak, and on the road we learned from passing merchants and caravans that it was mostly items of sentimental value or gold and gems that were being stolen from these small towns, and that we hadn't heard of any thefts from cities or from individual farms, just from these smaller towns in this kind of radius. About a dozen towns had been hit. None of them had any real sizable defense or army. Bretton happened to ask for some reason if anyone had seen any dragons, and was told actually that there are rumors of large beasts that have not been seen for many years, kind of on the outskirts of the region, but not necessarily dragons. Upon arriving at Harak, Bretton and Trillium headed to Monsieur Perkay's fine stationery shop. There was a fair amount of debate about kind of how to approach this gentleman, because he's very snooty and appears to serve only a high-end, rich clientele.
I'm very pleased with the solution that you arrived at, though. That was outstanding.
Yeah, well, so we basically went in with Bretton playing an incredibly arrogant purchaser with Trillium in the shape of, I guess, a parrot or a fine bird on his shoulder. And he just went in and assumed that he belonged there and had a major order in, and he used the alias of Saunders Macmillan. Perkay was actually relatively obsequious and at least pretended that he could handle everything. The main takeaway from that visit was that we found that Perkay's handwriting was incredibly similar to the writing on the note that was found in the cave in a prior episode, referencing a delivery in Harak. And as a result of that learning, we actually decided to send Uriel and Lenore back to the shop to steal something written by Perkay so that we could confirm or check whether it was truly the same writing. During that visit, Uriel performed his "Give me fuel, give me fire" trick, which kind of let him learn what it was that Perkay most desires in the world, and what he wants is to succeed where his master has failed. Trillium also, we also learned through Trillium, when she did a spout lore to compare the handwriting, that the note and Perkay's writings were not actually written by the same person, but by two people who were clearly taught by the same instructor. They were incredibly similar, but not exactly the same. Lenore, being from Harak, knows that the teacher must be one of two places in town, which are kind of etiquette or finishing schools for rich young people. And I think that's where we ended the episode.
Yeah. And we had determined early on that she is the only one that had come from Harak. Right? Everybody else was from a different area. Right?
That's true.
Okay.
We come from different places.
So
and
I
in different
have
places.
experience in Harak.
So we pick back up from the Stinky Salamander. You guys had your powwow in the adjoining tavern rooms, and ready to figure out what your next steps are?
I think we were going to maybe go towards the preparatory school.
It was either that or the address.
Oh,
See what
that
it
was
is
the
first.
other.
Yeah.
And you're welcome to kind of split as we're gathering information. Nothing bad should happen until
Yeah.
you roll.
That's always I was telling her earlier on the ride up here, never split the party.
Never split the
Never
party.
split the party.
Well, if we went to the schools,
But
what are we
we
gonna...
kind of did that already with
Yeah,
Perkay, and that's what I mean. It's not necessarily dangerous, and we're all hearing the same stuff. So I think we're playing it very well, so I'm fine doing that way.
Right. So how would we play it if we go to the prep schools at this point? Like, what are we going to ask, or what are we going?
Good question.
I would defer to her experience with the city. Zarek. Any connections with the cult?
I think maybe we wouldn't go there first. We'll check out the address.
Because that's a
was
quick,
supposed to
just
be
like
the
what kind of place
delivery.
is this? Oh, it's a
Yeah,
market.
no, I
or
agree. I
it's
think we
a
should go check
house?
out the address we have first.
Because
see
even
what it
to
is.
me, it's kind of it doesn't seem like that would make sense.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Off
So
to the address.
And since Bridget started a written or a drawn version of our map here for Iraq, what we're going to say is that you're going towards. Well, you have it written as north that way. All right, so I'll tell you. You're going to the north, that side, and the market is pretty much on the other side of the entrance road, not far in at all. And the market area spans, you figure, maybe 100 vendors of different types, and they're carts and kiosks and what have you, and regularly changing almost every night. People drive off, and a different group drives in. It's open every day, and it varies all the time. Some days it's a lot of fresh produce. Some days it's leather trading, and the tanners come through and what have you. There is a shop, an actual shop for almost everything you can think of in the city. But to get varied goods, you go to the marketplace. So like the regular shop has paper. At the marketplace, there's all kinds of fancy things at the marketplace, that type of deal. So here, the address you're given leads to an alley to the side of one of the bigger buildings in the marketplace. And the front of that building is a blacksmith. And the back of the building, the address you're given to, is where the blacksmith takes deliveries.
Is there any chance that my blacksmith Prometheus knows this guy?
Yes. I would say almost assuredly, because stuff that you made with Prometheus would end up in the market here at some point. And there is a very good likelihood that things you didn't make that are metal in town came from the smith in Iraq.
So just to be clear, the address from the note is the address, the delivery side of the blacksmith shop.
Yes. So the kind of things that might be delivered to a blacksmith shop are the things that would be delivered here. I would say some metals in their raw form, or even not in their raw form, to be smelted and turned into something different. Any kind of thing, maybe even like leather straps or things like that could be used when you're constructing stuff. And for that matter, fuel. It's tough to keep the fires going. Okay. Just about anything that might be used on at a busy blacksmith in a big city, because that's what this is. And the blacksmith's name, because he's always singing and laughing while he does his work, he's Jolly Gerald.
Jolly Gerald.
Jolly Gerald.
And he can be called almost anything. He does not care, but he is most often referred to as Jolly Gerald.
Jolly Jerry.
He sings and whistles and laughs while he works. He thinks everything is pretty damn funny. So what you want to do?
I'm gonna
Introduce
myself as Uriel. I work with Prometheus from Belshond.
Oh, Prometheus, that old man. What is he up to?
Just put me to work all day, every day.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
So, Cherry, what fuels the flames of your desire?
A roll of the dice, perhaps?
Oh, no.
One day, I'm going to make a sword that slays a great dragon. I'm going to keep at this forge until that happens.
That sounds pretty epic.
With any luck, sooner or later, the sword will be one of you guys' sword, because that'll be neat. That's what keeps him going. He knows he's going to make a weapon of legend, might be another way to put it.
Gotcha.
Something that people will talk about, like you equate Excalibur with King Arthur. He's going to make a weapon that people will talk about, the weapon, not the deed.
Ask him if he's working on that now.
I don't really see Jolly Jerry's name going on an epic weapon.
he's making a weather vane right now. So.
Might want to go under a
One
pseudonym
step
for
at a
that
time.
one.
However, this forge is known to produce some of the best blades in this region.
So he works more on weapons.
He works on almost anything,
Okay.
but if you want a quality, sturdy blade that you can smack into a stone and just have to resharpen it when you're done, you go to Jolly Gerald Smith to get that blade made there.
Gotcha.
He'll make sure that that thing does not break when you hit something.
Nice.
Very durable blades.
Might have to take some lessons from you.
I think he wouldn't mind as long as you can stand working with him for more than a few hours.
Right, I'm going to have to
Some
earplugs or
people,
something.
they're just way too optimistic. Everything's going to turn out
Well,
right.
it seems like everything in this town's kind of perky.
Perky. I get it.
I don't think this is our guy.
Gerald's definitely a stand-up guy,
Is he making?
by all appearances.
Are we all there or just you?
You
We can
guys
be
all
there.
wanted to
I
check the
initiate
address
conversation
out.
because I have the hook kind of like.
I mean, I would ask him if he's
The
working
connection.
on that, or a weapon like that right now, or if this is just his general goal.
No, but this weather vane will stand proud at the top of the church over here.
I will mention it though. I
You'll
kind
love
of.
it.
I'd like to help with that weapon one day. I have a way with working with metal unseen in any parts of the world that I know of. And he might even have heard. Prometheus might even mention me.
Maybe. That might be a lot of fun. We have to get the right metals in them.
I agree. In the right
Definitely.
fire. The right
Yes. Certain heat. And you can see when he's working, he has these complete authoritative fluid movements that everything he does flows into the next move. He's a master at his
So
craft.
no wasted movements.
Exactly. Everything. The only thing he wastes is breath. All of his movements are precise. And as he hits the metal, every hit helps it take the next form. He never goes back on a move. Everything seems really master craftsman.
So he has a shop right next door. Is that
Yeah, so he's working in the forge. So between the delivery entrance and the shop is the forge in this case, and he's working in there. If you enter through, you would enter through the front. You'd see him back there working.
Gotcha.
It's like an open kitchen in a restaurant. He's an open forge at the smithy.
That's what I'm guessing it looks like.
Okay.
Good. We're having the city created as we go, which is very nice. We have an actual physical reference this time.
Yeah.
Good. So you got some of that information from him, and what else would you like to ask him?
Yeah, I don't really know how to segue into like, hey, have you received any hot items? Because he doesn't seem like that kind of guy, but he might be unbeknownst to him where his stuff's coming from.
Could be. Could be.
So where do you normally obtain your work with any precious metals lately?
Oh yeah, almost every day. Of
Where
course.
do you normally obtain?
My
Obtain
assistant
them.
orders just about everything, but we get it from all around this area. We have a specific. His assistant. When he indicates the guy standing over in the shop, it's a dwarf, and he said. Or he tells you he knows where to find all the best metals, and if he can't find it, he knows someone who does.
We always have trouble in Valshan, small town. It's kind of hard to find stuff.
Well, yeah, but Prometheus is able to find stuff. And,
Yeah,
and
but it's
you've
not
got
as
all
easy.
the
It seems
people
like you
that
guys
travel through.
Yeah,
and,
but it's still not the same. Nobody wants to give away the goods sometimes,
well, sometimes you just have to go get them.
That's true.
That's what our short friend over here takes care of.
Perhaps I should talk to your
I was
assistant.
going to say, it sounds like we need to talk to the dwarf.
What's his name? Do we know?
It's a good
Hello.
point.
What about Drummond?
Drummond.
I'm just going. I'm eventually
works,
going to
yeah.
run out of names
Yeah,
on here,
gotcha.
That works.
You could drum up some items.
I'm just finishing putting that there. And he is not so jolly. He's just your stereotypical gruff dwarf dude. He's happy to help you, but as a gruff dwarf, not necessarily as a happy person. He heard some of the conversation because it's hard to be within 100 feet and not hear Gerald talking.
Right, that's true.
And he tells you, we can't give away all our secrets. Can't tell you where we get everything.
Right.
But we do get a fair amount from the mountains here in Iraq. Right to the sides, there are substantial mining operations going on with my folk.
I see there are huge tracts of land here.
There are huge
veins
tracts of land.
Gold, probably.
That's the Monty Python reference for today. So
What's his name again? Drummond.
Drummond. He's fairly standoffish, but he's not shutting you down. He'll talk with you, but he's not going to tell you where he gets his metal.
Drummond, what fuels the flames of your desire?
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to use it.
I'm going to use it. That's another thing to keep in mind for everybody. If you've got to move there, you can use it any time. This is your character. It's the thing that makes you. Exactly. So it doesn't have to wait for a perfect moment. You throw that thing out there right in Iraq whenever you want, or any other city or town or a cave, dungeon.
I'll magic missile him.
So he
I can
kind of
do that.
mutters under his breath, I'll have my own place sooner or later. He wants to run his own shop.
Yeah, gotcha.
And the only reason he's putting up with this insufferably loud fool is because he knows sooner or later it will pay off.
Right.
Old Gerald will either kick the bucket. I mean, humans have a much shorter lifespan than dwarves. Or something will happen, and he'll just take over.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be anybody's lackey.
Yeah, now he's the gopher. Go get this, go get that.
But to get there, he's going to work damn hard in the meantime.
Yep.
And that's what he's doing. He's getting everything he can for his current boss. Who else? What else is going on? You learn a little bit about this area and the marketplace. Like I said, all kinds of stuff out there. A little bit of everything. And if it isn't there, somebody there knows how to get it.
Yeah, so apparently, stuff's being delivered here. We just can't prove it yet.
Yeah, the note said the delivery needed to happen to this place, and that's all we knew.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing Drummond having this nice handwriting. Anything's possible, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more likely it's someone else is writing the notes and arranging for stuff to come here, which doesn't mean that Drummond or Gerald is using it or even knows what it is. It may just be a drop.
Yeah.
I was just thinking something. If I was a player, for whatever reason, I just thought this, you could have a writing contest. And everybody comes in. You have to write out the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Yeah.
And we'll determine the winner at the end of the contest. And you just go match up all the handwriting. That's one of the outlandish things players think of.
Yeah. Doesn't seem that kind of crowd, though.
Nah, not really.
Would not
Well,
partake.
we may be able to find
How
out
about,
who
could
wrote.
you sign my petition to send a little boy to camp for free?
There you go.
We may
You
be
got
able
all
to find
kinds
out
of
who
things.
wrote the notes from the teachers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's a
that
better
doesn't
idea.
necessarily. If it was a regular student, they may recognize the writing. Now, why would they want to tell us that? I don't know.
All kinds of questions.
We'd have to give them a reason.
Oh, we'll give him a reason. Burn this place down.
Burn this
I'm
place to
kidding,
the
I'm kidding.
ground.
No,
If there's
seriously.
one place that's probably pretty fireproof, it's the smithy.
Yeah.
'Cause if
Well,
it's
not
gonna
the
set
smell.
on
I'm
fire,
talking about the school.
The prep schools.
Gonna go to the school and burn that down. Okay. There'll probably be some happy people. The students probably.
Yeah, right. See?
Make some
Win-win for
friends in the
everybody.
younger crowd.
Yeah.
What do you want to take as your next step?
Yeah, I think we're done at this location for now. Unless you want to stake it out and see what something happens.
No, I think it probably makes sense to try
Hit the
the
school.
schools and see.
Because we don't know which school yet. You got to hit both.
I think
Yeah.
there's only one.
Oh, you
Well, there are 2 prep schools.
Yeah, but I
No,
don't.
There's only one.
There's only one?
Both of those are masters at the school.
Oh, so they compete within the school against each other. Okay. Let me change my note.
I don't think it's big enough for two
Is
prep
the biggest
schools.
city around?
Yeah, but
Okay.
these are schools. They're not for the common. They're for the wealthy, and there's probably not as many wealthy.
Small class sizes.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to mention, I'm not saying anyone has to do this now, nor am I saying it's you should have done it, but remember the whole discern realities thing. When you're in a place and you want to study the place, that involves a role. Just asking someone a question doesn't.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah, I guess we can take a look around and see if we can see any items maybe that would seem out of place.
Now, for those who have played these games before, like Chris and Kurt, typically you go into a place like, I'm going to make a perception check to see if there's anything out there. In this game, that doesn't happen. You're saying, I'm going to look around and see if there's anything that I can spot. And then that becomes a discern realities role. But when you just walk in and you're talking to people, then that's it. That you just talk. There's no role to talk to somebody, to ask a question, or to strike up a conversation.
What about, like, if I wanted to do what I guess a D&D would be an insight or a sense motive check on
that's
Jolly
the same,
Gerald?
That's
Is that a
discern realities as well. It's when you're taking the time to examine a place or a person
Okay. So why don't
situation.
one of you look around the room and I want to do I want to try to to roll for a sense of whether Gerald
Okay.
is as jolly and innocent as he seems.
So you're going to take a few moments and pay specific attention to Gerald and his mannerisms.
Yeah, watching his
Yeah.
responses when he's talking to Uriel and
Okay. Okay.
using my charismatic sense to.
So
I will just check to see if something is out of the ordinary because I know it's smithy and where things should be and what
Yeah.
spots they should be and things like that.
That's a good point. So I would say let's do it this way. Let's start with one roll, and if we get enough questions, we'll just answer what you guys are looking for. If he only gets one question, then you can roll as well.
Well, and if you see a random family photo or
Yeah,
like,
what's up, place?
That's funny.
so what is this in reality's wisdom?
Yeah, it is wisdom.
So I rolled 6. Wisdom would be 7.
Okay.
And
So
I-
that gives you one question out of the list.
Okay, so my question would be.
I think you either get 1 or 3, right? That's
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 or
yeah.
3.
7 and 9, you get 1. Also remember, this is one thing I forgot on the last one. When you ask a question and I give you an answer, if you use that answer on your next roll, you get a +1 to that roll, whatever it is. You take +1 forward when acting on the information I give you.
I'm just trying to think. So we didn't really ask Gerald anything outright.
Yeah,
No.
I kind of just asked them that
Small
one
talk.
question. They gave me like a legitimate, cool
Right.
answer. So they weren't going anywhere.
So I don't know. You have to tell me how I would handle. Just trying to get a sense for.
Well,
Is he
So
hiding
look at-
stuff?
Out of the questions on Discern Realities, what would you ask?
Oh yeah, let's
Give me an idea of which one is closest to what you're looking for. And then, Chris, you might as well go ahead and roll because he's just going to have the one question there.
So I
see
would
how that
either
goes.
want to go with what here is not as it appears to be, or what
12.
here is useful or valuable to me.
Okay.
I'm going to go with what here is not what it appears to be.
Okay. By all appearances in the conversations that Uriel has had, there's a steady working relationship, but you can tell that there's something about Drummond that he's not telling Gerald. He's doing something underhanded here. Drummond is definitely not as upstanding as he appears to be.
Okay.
He keeps glancing around while you guys are in there looking around and talking about him, especially Uriel saying he was with Prometheus at Valshand. It makes Drummond glance around, like into corners, like, did I leave something out or something? There's something wrong with the way he's acting. It's only obvious to you, but it's become obvious to you because you're paying attention.
Right. So Drummond's not being up and up with Gerald about something.
Yeah. And now Chris has rolled for Uriel and has, I think, 50 questions he can ask?
50,000.
Yeah, 50,000. I get all the informations.
Pretty much.
Yeah. What you want to find out.
So you did not what it appears to be.
Yeah.
I will do
and you
what-
could do the same one, too. It doesn't
I'll do who's
necessarily
really in
matter.
control here.
It's because of what Bretton. Gosh. Because we just had Brenton that you gave me for the thing that
I
threw me
could
off.
change that.
No, that's good. It's keep me on my toe. The because of what he noticed, and maybe he kind of points it out to you a little bit. I don't know if you give him a nudge, pay attention to Drummond or something, but you get the impression now for sure that although Gerald's name is on the business, he might as well just be a figurehead now. It's very likely that Drummond's pulling the strings.
We don't think that. I don't get the sense that Gerald's under control. He's just kind of like he's
Gerald
happy.
just doesn't know
He's
he's
happy
running the
running.
place.
He's happy.
Yeah.
Being the craftsman.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but
But he's not really running the business.
right. Well, he's not running the business that Drummond is running.
Right, yeah.
He is running the blacksmith shop.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. What here is useful or valuable to me?
In one of the corners behind the counter where you're talking to Drummond, you notice what looks like a piece of one of the lamps from Valchand. Not a whole thing, but like a piece of one. Like it had been broken and they took some parts off or something, and the remnants of one over in the corner.
What should I be on the lookout for?
Obviously Drummond. However, as you are getting ready to finish up your business here, there's a knock at the delivery door, and Drummond disappears. So something's happening.
We'll go see what that is.
You're just going to
Yep.
go walk
Oh,
back?
yeah.
Okay. Everybody else? How are you going to handle it? Is everybody just going to march back towards the delivery door?
When Drummond leaves?
Yeah, so right before you guys are finishing up, or you are finishing up in the smithy, pretty much getting ready to go out, there's a loud rapping on the back door, the delivery door that you guys first walked around the side of the building. And right when that happens, it's like somebody shot Drummond in the foot, and he just jumps and runs back towards the back with a quick, excuse me, and he's off. Like he was expecting a delivery.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably investigate that.
Huh? Just forthright, not kind of nonchalant or anything. It just
I'm not
goes
being nonchalant. That's not my
just
personality
straightforward.
type.
Okay.
I'm going to go out the front
Yeah.
and go
Well, you
back
put probably,
around.
unless you're going to charge through the
No.
guy's business, yeah, you would go around.
Well, he was saying
Yeah.
he's going out the back. He's following where.
Well, you're going to go around? Or
No, I'm following wherever Drummond went. That's where
Yeah.
I'm
So
going.
you're just going to walk right through the middle of there?
Yes.
and
All
I'm
right.
going to go out and around the back.
Okay.
So
And
we're all
you too?
we're making it pretty obvious. that
I'm being
we're-
obvious.
I mean,
Yeah, he
you're
is.
going for
But that's
him.
his personality type. I'm all just,
He was also the person talking to them already. So
Yeah.
just going to follow him when he walks away.
But we're all in there
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So like
No one
you
about.
suddenly go out the front.
well, you guys were getting
You're
ready to leave
following the
anyway.
Yeah, we were
guy.
getting ready to go.
Okay.
because
So
we
could-
were still
could
kind of
just
talking.
kinda-
All right. So we're just gonna.
No, we should go up to the church. We haven't been to the church in a while. What do you think? We head up there?
Sure.
Okay. Well, just to get us out of the...
Yes.
Church.
Bretton,
I know what you're playing, but
Going out for
yes.
cigarettes.
All right.
Bretton, you're going to walk around towards the back
So,
from the
yeah,
opposite
I
direction.
didn't know if you want to shape shift once we're out around the...
Okay.
Corner.
Yeah. Because
Wonder Twin powers activate.
well, if you're gonna go back there anyway, I mean, do you have to roll? Is he gonna have
Well,
to
what's
roll
going to
to,
happen?
like,
Once I
find
figure out what
happens?
direction everyone's going,
Yeah, then
and
it'll-
the only one I have left is Kurt. I don't know what Bretton's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to go around back and try to kind of watch from
But out
across
the front
street.
door, around the back?
Yeah.
Okay. So the important part here is I want to know who was walking through the shop. Because first off, yes, Drummond's going to stop as soon as he sees you following him. Everyone else walking out the front door. And, Gerald will see you too. And they're like, oh, you can't go through here.
But wouldn't it make more sense for you to be, for Uriel to be kind of interested in their deliveries, being that he's in the
But
same
if he's
trade?
just going to turn and follow the guy through, then that's just walking. It's like walking through the back room of a retail store when you don't work there.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing, essentially. Or the analogy I made earlier, it's a restaurant with an open kitchen where you can see it, but as a guest, you're just going to walk all the way through to the walk-in fridge?
Okay.
Probably not.
Gotcha.
That's what he's essentially doing.
Yeah.
He's walking back to the delivery entrance where they're going to be bringing food in, as it were. But
Okay.
so, hold on, you can't. You gotta. You can't walk through here.
We have a delivery for us, don't we?
But it's not for you. I mean, Drummond is. Gerald's like, no, my friend, you can't. No, yeah.
Well, I had it
The
set
shop is
here.
dangerous back here. I know you've worked here, but this is a different.
Let's answer the door.
Gerald won't really stop you, but Drummond doesn't want to walk any further while you're standing there. He stops, and it's another 30 feet back to the door.
I keep walking towards the door.
All right, he's going to just get in front of you. No, you don't belong here. You have to leave. And in the meantime, anyone who is walking around to the back will be getting there shortly. Were you guys actually walking around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you guys go out the front door, as this half-minute thing's going on, you walk around the front door and you turn down the alley. There's a wagon in the alley. It's a covered wagon, and it looks like there are a couple of humans back there, just regular people, starting to take small crates and different items out of the back of the wagon, and they're waiting for the delivery entrance to open. So you guys
We
have a
just
few seconds to
nonchalantly
whatever you want to do
walk
with
by.
that information.
Yeah, we're just gonna, nonchalant.
Just a couple of
Just
people walking.
Now, would either of you know what to expect to be delivered to a blacksmith, a forge?
not.
I mean, in general,
Yeah, I mean, I think we would be able to tell if something
You
was
think?
of value or different. Maybe.
Sounds like there might be a little bit of lore someone's trying to spout. Let's find out. Who wants to do the roll?
Okay.
what is that?
Spout
Intelligence.
lore is intelligence, yeah. And remember, you can always try it.
Your
The
intelligence.
worst
is better
that
than
can
mine.
happen is you
I
get a
have plus
+1 you
one
can use
for
later.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
13 plus 1. Mine's 12.
So let's give it a shot.
So
She's going to-
I'll roll for spout lore.
All right, let's do that.
All right,
We're
here
going
we
to
go.
see if that information you've got in your head actually helps you identify if this stuff should be at a blacksmith shop.
All right, so 5 plus 1.
Really? So
Yeah.
grab a chip because you'll get a +1 to use later on. It looks legitimate, and everybody's just going about the business. They see you there, and they're just kind of waiting, and they knock on the door again. And at that point, inside, Drummond hears the knock, and he turns back. But then he's back. He's like, "No, you got to go out the other way. You can't get through here."
I keep walking towards the door. If he puts his hands
He will.
on,
He's stopping you.
Very
He's a substantial little dwarf.
I'll just. I'm gonna have to do burning brand then.
Oh snap!
What are you doing?
He's gonna summon a fire weapon of some
Unless
type.
is there open flame back here someplace or not?
There's open flame about 10 feet behind you.
That's over by Gerald. I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
The forge, definitely.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I'll just do burning brand.
Okay. What is the intent? What are you summoning at this point?
I'm just gonna.
In case it goes horribly awry, I want to know where to take it.
Yeah. Well, I automatically get it's conjure a weapon, but I almost don't.
But you still have all those extra tags now, too, right?
Yeah. So I don't necessarily want a weapon unless I can make it like a. I really just want to burn him, kind of. He puts his hand on my chest and kind of grab his wrist and just
Fire brass knuckles.
Yeah, or like a gauntlet.
Yeah,
like
a gauntlet.
Yeah. So metal gauntlets.
Sure.
Look over there, Joe.
That looks like
That's
a
an 11.
success.
Yeah,
Okay.
an 11.
So you definitely take him off guard.
Yep.
And he flinches enough for you to walk by him.
Either you answer the door or I answer the door.
He's still going to try and grab you and stop you.
Well,
So
technically he's
this point,
taking damage from me.
it will hurt him.
Okay.
But and Gerald might get involved because
That's
you're
fine.
burning his employee
Well, that's
now.
fine.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But he's trying to stop you.
Okay.
And when he shouts the first time, Gerald turns and he's trying to figure out what's going on. So you're just going to go right up to the door and open it?
Yep.
Because you'll have enough time
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
Okay. But they'll come shouting after you in a moment.
Okay.
And the door opens for those outside. The door opens, and it's not the person that they're expecting to be at the door. It might be the person you guys were expecting to be at the door because it's Uriel. But they immediately they're like freeze, like, who are you? What are you doing here? They hear Drummond and Gerald start shouting in the background, like, what the hell's going on? It's not supposed to be like this.
Put your faces on the ground.
Whoa.
Eat some dirt.
What?
I have my both fists are on fire, flaming.
Somebody get this guy an ambulance. His hands are on fire. Did that happen
freak
inside?
forge accident.
Are you okay? They don't expect somebody there with their hands
Yeah,
on
right.
fire.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You all right?
You guys
put 'em
gonna?
out.
Where
One
do
of
you
the
guys?
guys. One of the guys grabs a blanket off the wagon and tries to throw it over your hands. Your fire's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is, but I haven't touched anybody yet with it.
but they're making it happen.
Okay.
As soon as they get close to you with a blanket, it's going to catch
Yeah, it's
fire.
gonna catch fire, yeah.
And we're going to have a little fire start in the alleyway. Now, it's not it's
Yeah.
stone, a little bit of dirt and stone walls and what have you. This isn't an area that's going to catch fire quickly, but the wagon will start to catch fire. Unless somebody else can do something about that quickly.
I can do something.
It's
unless
a
you guys wanna do something.
mini panic.
Oh, I could.
I'm letting somebody else do something before
I
I
could
start.
make
Yeah,
rain.
yeah.
I could make rain happen.
Oh boy!
This could go horribly wrong.
This will be fun.
I just leveled up nature. Do what I tell you.
All right, so
I didn't know you
Read that move again so we get an idea of what you're trying to do.
it's elemental mastery.
Yeah.
When you call on the primal spirits of fire, water, earth, or air to perform a task for you, roll plus wisdom. On a 10, I choose 2. So basically, I get to choose between the effect you desire comes to pass, you avoid paying nature's price, or you retain control.
Yeah.
Now, what would be nature's price? That would be just circumstantial, like...
Yeah, it's circumstantial.
Okay.
And it, like here, say
Depending
for
on what I
example,
roll.
you wanted to call rain,
Oh, got a monsoon
and
instead.
you call rain, but you don't choose that one, so you end up having to pay nature's price. Well, maybe the liquid is sucked out of something else nearby and causes a problem somewhere else. The fruit vendor at the corner, all their fruit goes dry. You know, something bad could happen, and they know it was you because they see you over there saying, "Make it rain!"
Okay. So ideally, like a 10 or more would be the effect you desire comes to pass, and
Yeah, you'd be good
you
to
retain
go.
control.
Yeah.
Like that would
That's what
be-
you want. You
For
want
the
the 10.
most part, and then you
Ideal.
just end up paying nature's price based on whatever the whole situation is. However, you might want it to be that you don't have a price to pay for nature and you just lose control of it. Maybe it's okay to have a whole crap ton of water here. As long as there was enough to actually put out the fire to begin with, you might not care if, the dog down the street gets drowned. Who knows?
Right. Okay. All right. So here we go.
Let's see.
That's dark.
Now, what do
What?
I have
That's
for wisdom?
dark.
There's a price to be paid, and you have to lose control.
All
or-
right. So 6 plus 2 is 8.
I think you only get
One.
to choose one out of that now.
Yep.
Because the 10 plus, you get to choose 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, choose 1. So,
So if you're doing it to put the fire out, that's probably important to choose the effect you
the
want.
effect. Yeah. So the effect you desire comes to pass.
Now I have a question that goes to Uriel next.
Yeah, I was kinda hoping you were
does
gonna
rain
fail.
put out your fire?
I don't know if it would put out my hands. It would put out a normal fire.
Yeah.
Because I
So-
still have my 3 thing. Yeah. No, it wouldn't.
Yeah,
put
so
it out.
that's part of my thought.
Yeah.
So it'll put out the fire that has caught the blanket and has started on the cover of the wagon, so that fire will go out, but Uriel's hands will still be on fire.
Wasn't Uriel like in the? I mean, he was in the doorway, right?
But he's right
not.
there standing,
Yeah. I'm like, I'm
not even
technically
a
outside.
couple of feet apart. This is a delivery alley,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
there's not a whole lot of space.
All right.
It's not like the loading dock at Walmart. This is just a little spot where a wagon could fit and people could just unload stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you put out the
Closed
blanket,
quarters.
the wagon if it caught.
So when this is the first time that Trillium has called upon nature, how did she do it? Did you have to say something? Incantation, motions, shouting,
Dance moves.
dance moves, evolution
Wow.
of dance?
I don't know. I guess let's say it's just mental concentration.
Mental.
It's silent.
Okay. And
So
what
you're
precedes the rain? Is there like an extra cloud, a little bit of thunder, maybe?
Yeah, it
Lightning
seems
or
to be
something?
natural. It seems
Okay.
it seems to be like it's not.
So a freak of
Gotcha.
nature, but nature nonetheless.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the
It's
little
under
rain
the
cloud that
radar.
follows around Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
It looks more natural. Okay. So that happens. It does take them off guard. And the most of the fire, I guess, part of the fire is put out. At that point, Drummond and Gerald reach the back door, and everyone's just kind of like, what the hell's going on? This guy's on fire. It just rained for 10 seconds. And a fair amount of the rain went right into the back of the shop, too. And there's like a half an inch of rain on the floor, flash flood kind of thing. Yeah.
Whoops.
Which might not be so good for a blacksmith, but whatever.
I'll dry that up later.
And you definitely feel drained, like dehydrated all of a sudden. You could use some water soon.
Thirsty.
Yeah.
What's in the wagon?
What? Are you asking anyone in specific or just in general?
Kind of, yeah.
And Kurt, what's Bretton up to?
That's being delivered.
He's just been across the street, kind of nonchalantly watching, like trying
Yeah.
to be not
Yeah, I'm
seen.
kind of blending in.
Yeah, I'm trying to blend in, not be part of this, because I'm basically.
Like, you just made rain, so I'm like,
You want
Yeah.
to be able to play innocent
I'm-
then?
well, I figured these two are making a big enough scene. I'm there for backup if it goes even
Yeah.
worse.
Okay. And after that, or during that, what is Lenore doing?
when she made it rain, I kind of backed off a little bit
Yeah.
to blend in with people passing by.
Okay. So you get
Pretending I'm,
closer
like,
to the
shopping.
street, or closer to the market.
Yeah, pretending I'm shopping at the market or
Okay.
waiting for
Now,
somebody.
it is a little bit of a distance because from the end of the alley to this delivery entrance is probably 100 feet or so. So you'd have to back up a fair bit to get towards the market. But and for being across the street, you can see what's going on, but you couldn't necessarily hear anything because there's enough people around. And if we leave it at that, where it's mainly Uriel and Trillium there, those are the people that are in on the conversation. They're shouting. Drummond just starts shouting, "You need to get out of here! I'm going to call the police." I don't know what they'd be called.
militia.
Sheriff?
But they're not a
Deputies?
militia. It's actually
City
the
Watch.
guard. City Watch. Yes, I'm going to call the City Watch. Go! And he starts shouting out towards the street. And then
Perhaps
you
we
guys
should,
can hear
because you
him
have
out
stolen
there.
materials from my city, Valchonde.
There's nothing stolen here.
What's in the corner over there, the street lamp?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe you should go look at it. How about Jerry? Why don't you go check that out?
He
You
does.
want to move in?
Yeah, I think we're
Move in a little closer.
Yeah,
Maybe
Jolly
watch
Gerald.
the
calmly.
guys.
Calmly.
Maybe watch the guys with the wagon.
Show me what's in the wagon, or else I burn it down.
Jolly Gerald has the first dour look on his face for probably the last 10 years, and he looks
awesome.
very
He's
uncomfortable
not
with
singing.
it as he walks back into the shop. I mean, he said, "Go look in the corner over there." He's going to go take a look. So you're out there with Drummond and the two delivery men, who, if for simplicity's sake, they're like in a regular delivery uniform. It looks like this is a delivery company. They probably don't work for him. They're just people that pick
Gotcha.
something up in one place and deliver it to another.
All right.
But they're not hobgoblins.
No, they're not. You don't notice any odd smells.
Right.
Regular, sweaty human delivery smells. That's about it.
I asked one of the delivery drivers, what were you
Yeah.
delivering here?
Everything in
Specifically.
these crates. And he grabs a piece of paper that hadn't yet caught fire. There's a little corner of it that's scorched. He grabs the piece of paper off the back of the wagon, and it's like this. And on there is goods from here, goods from here, goods from here, and it lists various different metals and things that Gerald requested from here or there. And you see little check marks next to each thing, like they checked them off as they put them in the wagon. He said, "We've gone through 4 different towns, and this is the stuff that he asked for. What the hell's going on?
What were you expecting, Drummond?
This is none of your business." And he's still shouting out for the guards. And at this point, you guys out towards the street, there are a couple of guards who have taken notice of the shouting, and they're starting to trot down the alleyway. And you would notice that as they get there.
That's fine.
Okay. And so when they get there, it's, "What's going on here? Why are you disturbing this business?" Because Drummond immediately tells them, "He's disturbing this business." That's exactly what he says.
Drummond has stolen goods from the city I come from.
We're going to need proof of this.
There's some inside the building right now, and there possibly could be some in this wagon.
And they look at Drummond and said, show us what he's talking about. And he'll lead them inside with you if you follow along. And when you get in there, Gerald's standing at the counter, and the thing you saw in the corner isn't there. And he's standing there going, "What? What are you talking about?
Where did you put it, Gerald?
What?" He looks a lot more innocent than I look right now
Okay.
because I've got several characters in my head. So bear with me. He is dumbfounded. What?
All right, Drummond, where
corner?
did you move it? Did I tell him the right corner, or did you?
Yeah. Oh, the thing you saw there isn't there now.
Okay.
That it just what? This man, remove him from this business.
What's in the wagon?
The things that we ordered. You
look
saw
pretty-
the manifest.
You look quite. Yeah, let's check it out. Let's check out everything in the wagon. You look pretty nervous there, Drummond.
The guards are willing to take some time and try and satisfy your curiosity
Okay.
to an extent.
All right.
Because you are not a well-respected business here,
Right,
and they
that's
are.
true.
So they will stay with you
Okay.
long enough to open up a couple of crates and verify the information on the manifest.
It would be
And
something
a
that's not
couple of the
in
crates-
the crates or hidden within the crate. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be something not on the manifest.
Well, there's no reason at this point that the guards would allow you to just rifle through this guy's stuff. They'll open a crate, and if it matches what's on the paper, they'll let it go. And at first glance, everything matches what's on the paper. And say, all right, that's enough here. You're going to need to move on. That's enough disruption for one day, fiery man.
This isn't over with, Drummond.
You haven't seen the last of me. That's pretty cool. You're definitely coming off as the maniacal dude at this point.
The hothead,
That's
right?
pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. But if there is something amiss here, they've made sure it's covered up nicely.
Of course.
If there's something amiss.
Right.
Of course, there isn't.
No, of course not.
Not a chance.
We can always come back here.
Oh,
or
totally.
follow
Totally
him.
stake it out, or she could do her bug thing, whatever.
She could do her bug thing.
Yeah, I kind of want
Fly
her
on the
to.
wall.
We can leave, and she hangs out, and like, that's where that went.
So as you walk away, presuming at some point you will,
Yeah, of course.
at the front of the shop, Gerald's standing there. The front door's open, and he's standing with a broom, brushing sooty water out into the street, and he's all pissed off because you flooded his shop. Poor fella. But there's the murmuring going around the market area, and there's a lot of people glancing towards you and pointing. You in general.
Oh, I stand out. I'm not,
Yeah.
big dude with bright red flaming hair.
But the weird
nice
stuff
blue
that
eyes.
just happened down there.
Well, not everybody saw that, but yeah.
Well, they knew they could hear the rain,
Right.
and there was a fire,
Yeah.
briefly, and there's going to be some smoke from that, and then the guards running down there and a lot of shouting, which isn't a normal occurrence.
That's true.
So there's murmuring about that, and there's a lot of I wonder what happened over there.
Well, there's just
Who's
some
that
hot,
guy?
wet
Well,
action
say-
in Iraq.
We could just say, thank goodness we had that sudden rain shower, because that wagon just caught fire out of nowhere.
Stuff happens.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
So now more intrigue at the smithy. What's the next step?
The only other stuff is to either stake this out or stake out Drummond or check out the schools for more info.
Well,
I don't know what we're going to get at the schools now.
Well, I mean, I don't see Drummond writing notes. I don't know.
well, Drummond might, sound an alarm,
Well, that's the
because
thing.
of
He
what
might,
just happened.
right? I kind of like know I am watching you. He might go run to whoever.
Yeah, so I could maybe, hang out with Drummond in like a insect form or be a little mouse, something like that.
That's definitely possible.
What do
Yeah.
you guys think about that?
That's probably a good idea.
I would say something that
because
could fly.
he might,
A flying mouse.
Gerald might say, what was that all about? That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Drummond
Or
might
be like, what a crazy day. Ha ha ha.
yeah. Or
be
Drummond might,
funny, yeah.
go, well, I've got to go let such and
crazy
such know
day.
what just happened
Yeah.
because
Or I've gotta run
people
an
are
errand.
onto us or whatever.
I think you should be a chipmunk.
A chipmunk? Well, I want to
sorta.
be something that's going to be able to be indoors and outdoors. So
Okay.
something that's like
An alley
A
cat.
wild
little-
boar.
Bird?
a wild boar.
Yeah.
A fly.
Let me think.
Flies have like
Firefly.
3-hour lifespans. I mean, I don't want her to die while she's in there.
A firefly. A dragonfly.
I have no problem with insects, but I still think animal, not insect, animal kind of things. I like the salamander thing before. Mice are neat. Whatever.
Technically,
The birds
insects
meat,
are
too.
animals.
I know. That's why I said animal. I don't like her. I like her.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Candy
'Cause-
and chocolate.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, as classification goes, yeah, animals a really big category.
Okay, so am I?
But you can pick whatever you want, mind you.
Okay.
I'm not saying you can't. I just usually think of something a little more animalish instead of insectish.
Right. Mammal or
Whatever is more
Whatever.
maneuverable is what I would give.
Yeah.
okay.
choice.
So
And squishy is an
Small.
important consideration.
Be an
let me
ant.
think. Let's be.
Flies are not at the top of anyone's food chain,
That is
I
true.
know,
and there
fly-
are
I
other
know.
animals here.
I'm trying to think again. Like I want to be something that's gonna be able to be inside and outside. Something that can
Not noticeable, really.
is not. Yeah. How about let's just do a mouse?
I was going to say mouse, because there's
Mice are
probably
cool.
mice
And I could be
everywhere.
I could hide anywhere. I mean, it's, and I would have
Yeah.
good hearing. I'm thinking like really literal about this. Okay, so
and that's fine.
Mouse
It's
it up.
important to know why you're becoming a mouse because that's what the holds mean.
okay. Well, so I'm becoming a mouse because mice are easily, they could be inside or outside, and they have good hearing.
And
And
it's-
I want to be able to follow Drummond if I need to and hear what he has to say if he says it.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, here we go. All right.
Oh, that's not so good.
We've got a 4 plus wisdom is 2, so
Yeah.
6.
You got
So
your
let's
things.
put it this way. I'm going to take this failure and just say, right now, nature's price was you're not able to shapeshift for now. So you are held off on
Should we get another
shapeshifting.
thing?
You get the chip, but I'm going to use that failure immediately. Now,
Okay.
another thing I want to mention to you guys, too. Remember, every chip you have in front of you is a big negative in the story. And where that comes in are things like, even though you were able to tackle the living statue, it got away. There was a failure that needed to happen at some point. So every chip out there is something that's bad. Drummond got away with something earlier. That's a failure I carried forward. There's a way for something to happen where you're not going to get what you want right now, but there's going to be enough of a trail or breadcrumbs or even just incentive to go back and get it. So every failure means something that you may not see immediately. This is one of the rarer cases where you see it immediately.
Okay.
It's going to be that your failure here is that nature's price comes into play. So
Alright.
you are not going to be able to shapeshift for a little while. We'll determine how long a little while is
Okay.
as we go. So you're not able to
Let's-
follow Drummond. It lets him get away is what that turns into. So you don't necessarily know where he went next unless you happen to have a ranger friend who could track people. That's a possibility.
It's possible.
Yeah. Or you could just set fire to places until he comes out.
Flush him
Not
out.
that has any sense to it, but
Burn this whole city down.
burn the whole damn city.
Her rack is
So
on
can I
fire.
hunt? I can hunt and track.
Her rack is
Actually,
on
Cloud's probably
fire.
been figuring out this whole mystery the whole time. She hasn't heard back from her.
That's true. She's probably
Who's
Cloud's just like
She already figured out the whole thing.
Oh,
She
yeah,
comes
she
back,
does.
yeah, like I got the guy.
Yeah, is Cloud essentially your pet or your service dog when you're in a city? How do you treat that? Because most people don't walk around with a pet.
yeah, it's a good question. I mean, can I get away with having her with me
As
like,
long
in
as-
the
What kind of
market?
town is
in
this?
our,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as call it, again, a medieval fantasy town, as long as your animal is well behaved, no one gives a damn.
Right.
It's not like, it's like walking around with a sword at your waist. As long as you're not killing people.
Right. Yeah.
There
Then I
are
would
certain
I
places
would.
where they won't let your pet in, and there are certain places they won't let you in if you're armed. But
don't
just
serve their
walking
kind
around
here.
town,
Right.
right? So just
She's
as
mild
a-
mannered, if a little
Yeah.
stubborn. Yeah. So I can track and
Okay. Do we want to do anything else with the whole school idea in this episode?
I think it's worth a try. Hey, do you recognize his handwriting?
Lenore.
yeah. I mean,
At
that's
least
really
that.
all we'd be going there for, right?
Yeah, totally.
I guess if that's what people want to do.
What do
It
you
might
want?
give
I
us-
can show them where the school is.
Might give us one more piece of that puzzle.
But you were the one that had the information. I think people are expecting you to follow up with it.
He has the note.
No, the information about that there are
The two
prep
masters.
schools
School master.
Oh, yeah,
and
with
school
cigarette.
masters,
Yeah,
and you
well-
know the names of two of them.
Right.
The ones that were probably teaching the people who wrote the note.
But the thing is, I definitely wouldn't have gone to school there, so I
Okay.
don't.
So is that better or worse? Asking as an outsider or an insider?
I don't know.
Because we don't have an insider.
It's pretty. It's like
You're more inside
Mr.
than any of us.
Perkay,
Yeah.
where it's kind of snooty.
High society.
Yeah.
We don't belong there. Kind of
So
place.
is this the kind of thing where you would go in snooping after hours looking for records, or you would actually go in and ask somebody? I guess that's where I'm going with it. If you're going to get any information about this, it's either going to be with no one noticing or with everyone noticing, I guess. What do you want to do? Or just skip that breadcrumb trail and go off on different ones. All of it's fine.
Do some of the other... Are you monks or like part of the...
Cultists.
No.
Like,
We run a clinic. We run a
Clinic?
clinic.
It's a self-hurt, self-help kind of clinic.
okay, so...
So
Full
so
service.
we teach like first aid classes and
Okay. Are
like,
there
help
any...
deliver babies and You know,
Oh, do
Okay.
you have the name of the front?
No, I'm working on that.
Frankie's First Aid?
No. No.
Frankie's
Well, Gerda
Funhouse?
is
The cult clinic.
head nurse right now,
Okay.
or the cult leader.
But it is like a walk-in clinic.
It's
kind
like
of
a walk-in
place.
clinic. It's like
Okay.
doctor's care.
Okay.
Well, would there be any of your members maybe
Cultists Without
working at
Borders.
the school?
No.
Oh, okay.
Cultists
Probably not.
Without Borders. That is awesome. That's the actual name of the
That's
cult. But the
great.
front business. No.
Okay,
It
so
can't
there's
have
no...
anything to do with Zoraika, right? That can't be mentioned in the name, or
Shouldn't
we
shouldn't
wouldn't
be,
do that.
no.
okay.
It would just be like a community
So if
clinic.
somebody mentions Zoraika, what is that like? Oh, do people get freaked out by that name, or how does that work?
It'd be more of.
Or like I don't know what you're
it-
talking
yeah,
about
I
at
don't-
all.
What does that mean?
Okay.
How about that? Like people mentioning Mithra or something now. What? Who's that?
What?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
forgot what you were asking.
I was
I don't.
just
The
wondering.
clinic doesn't have a name yet.
It's
Okay.
the clinic.
Yeah,
That's-
but
The
if
school
it-
has a name.
Okay.
I was asking about the members, if they would,
Yeah.
if they were work,
they worked
if they
at
would
the school.
possibly be in the school working, or could there be a connection there? Maybe.
You have cultist in the school. That's
Yeah.
Maybe.
undercover.
Yeah. Keep your member undercover in Iraq. What? What?
You married.
Crickets.
Yeah.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
That's nice. I like that. You mean Zoraika?
Yeah, sorry. She's not gonna have any mercy.
Gosh. So what's the name of the school? The prep school?
Bloomfield Preparatory Academy.
Wow.
We should set
BPA.
it on fire.
You're gonna
Sounds
tell
like
me
a place
twice.
that needs to be burned.
I mean,
Okay.
The BPA.
EPA. So what do we think? We've got a few minutes left in this episode. Do we want to just talk for? Let's get our characters together at the
Stinky salamander.
Stinky Salamander, and think of what the next steps actually are. Because now there are murmurings in the area about this guy who set the wagon on fire, and then this freak rainstorm, and the authorities being called to the blacksmith. And it seems like it settled down, but who knows what the hell happened.
yeah, we probably should regroup and figure
Yeah.
out what we want to do.
So let's have a couple-minute conversation.
We could
amongst the
stake
characters.
out Drummond, whether we watch the blacksmith or just follow him around, see what he does, who he interacts with. Or the school thing is like a quick, just like, hey, do you recognize this writing? Yay or nay? Do you got a name? That's fast.
I think.
I don't know. I'm
Would
poor.
you want to
If-
work in conjunction with the authorities for that instead of one of you guys walking in? Propose to them.
Well, I've
what
already
your
put a bad
theories are?
taste in their mouth, so I don't know if I
maybe
can work
not
with
you.
them.
Yeah. But you might be able to work with the authorities and give them the information of what you're working on and see if they'll collaborate.
Do we
Yeah.
trust the authorities?
In a big town like this? I don't know.
Lenore's
There's-
from here. Is there any reason to think that they're corrupt at this point?
It is a big city, so there's always.
In general, no.
Yeah.
Right. It's a well-run town,
Been
city.
fairly stable.
Yeah.
But we're getting the vibe that this is,
There's something going on though.
well, all of the, I guess, whoever's running this heist of stealing things, it's coming down from the wealthy, right? Because there's this note, high-quality paper,
That may or may not come from the wealthy, but there is somebody who is well-educated in charge. That might be
Right.
the way to put it.
So if
Yeah.
they're, maybe higher up or whatever, I don't know. I'm a little weary of the authorities in this.
It's
unknown
definitely a
town.
1%er who wrote the note.
Okay.
think
All
He
right.
can afford
Yeah.
the parchment,
Yeah.
I think following.
although it was off the out in the open shelf, so it's not that pricey.
I think following Drummond is the most obvious
Yeah.
chance of reward, at least to start. I mean, even if we follow him for a couple days and we don't learn anything, that tells us something.
Okay.
Yeah, he could be on something that's not involved with,
Yeah.
some of this. He could be.
But we
Not
can
all
also
with the
we can also
statue do.
split it. I mean, Lenora can handle the school. Maybe
I was thinking
you
that
or you
too.
and I can track Drummond.
Yeah, I was
you can go set some
thinking.
fires in the corner.
Yeah, keep all the attention on me while you guys are doing your
that's
thing.
an interesting idea.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So the rest of the party investigates with impunity because he's setting fire to the town.
Well, I mean, and he could be a distraction actually to Drummond to keep Drummond's attention
Yeah,
while
keep
we
him
were
on.
watching. So,
He's
if Drummond's
nervous.
spending all of his time avoiding this guy, he doesn't notice us as much.
right, exactly. All attention's on me.
I can foresee Uriel having a nemesis.
Oh, all right.
That could happen.
I also
here.
think.
That's the danger that follows.
I also
me around.
think that
Is it?
if we need to, we've got an option to have Uriel threaten Perkay in a meaningful way for
Oh, gosh.
for help or for information, because Perkay could be a link to whoever.
Perkay is also
Yeah.
sitting in a bunch of flammable stuff that's incredibly valuable.
Yeah, he would
Yeah.
tell me anything I wanted
gosh.
to know.
He
Probably.
He seems like the kind of person that would not resist torturing for very long.
Well,
Yeah.
I would just be intimidation. I wouldn't be no torture for that guy.
It would be torture to think that his stuff's
Yes,
about to
oh,
burn.
totally, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Cool.
probably got some answers.
So I think we have some ideas of what we're going to do next when we pick up the next episode of A New Frontier on Adventures from the Shed. For now, though, we can wrap this one up and we can all say...
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Burn the planet.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.